Franco Terrazzano is the federal director of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, and he joins us now from Ottawa to discuss this tax. So, Franco, how will this new wealth tax actually work?
This isn't a tax on income. This would be a tax on all of the assets that you may have if you have that many assets. And why that could be so damaging for someone who's right on the margins is that you may have to sell a part of your business, maybe a part of your farmland or machinery, to have the cash to pay the tax. And remember, with the government that's more than $1 trillion in debt, we are worried that you're going to start seeing politicians in Ottawa tripping over themselves, looking for new ways to pay down their massive deficits, right? So we think the Trudeau government needs to be spending time studying ways to save money and attract investment, not studying new ways to overtax Canadians.
So how far-reaching would this wealth tax be for Canadians?
The government likes to say that it's only considering a tax on the rich, but these types of taxes are the Trojan horse of politics. They get the tax in the gates and then they expand it to cover more and more Canadians. We saw that play out in Canada with the income tax. When it was first brought in, only relatively few Canadians paid the tax because of its high exemptions. Now today, many Canadians pay the income tax. But we also saw this with wealth tax proposals from the federal NDP. When they first brought the proposal forward, they wanted the threshold to be $20 million. The very next election, they cut that threshold in half. But also in France, they stopped indexing the threshold with inflation, and more property owners got hit with the tax as inflation bumped up their asset values.
Okay, Franco, let's talk about France and their wealth tax in more detail. How well did it really work out for them?
Well, they ditched it. But it wasn't just France. You've got Austria, Denmark, Finland, Germany, Ireland, India, Netherlands, and Sweden. They all tried to wealth tax, but then they ditched it. One, it's a very complex type of tax, but two, it harms the size of the economic pie. In France, they lost out on about $300 billion of assets that fled, but then also tens of thousands of residents left France in part because high taxes chased them out. So this is a very damaging type of tax, and it's something that we have to stay on guard for.
Thanks so much, Franco. That was Franco Terrazzano, Federal Director of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, joining us from Ottawa.